Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'd like to do is show you how to graph this linear inequality. And when graphing a linear inequality, one of the main important things we want to do first is to be able to identify if we're dealing with a dashed or a solid line. So since we have our equation y is less than or equal to x minus 5, we know that this is going to be a solid line. So the next thing is we want to do is be able to determine how are we going to graph this. Well, this is in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And even though we have an inequality, a slope-intercept form allows us to identify the slope and the y-intercept more easily. Now, we notice that there's no coefficient for x, right? But remember, when you have a variable, you can always say a coefficient is 1. So I can write my slope as equal to 1 and my y-intercept as equal to -5. Now, remember, the slope we like to write as a fraction, right? Because it's a ratio. It's a change in the coordinates of y over the change of the coordinates in x. So it would be represented as 1 over 1. Where the y-intercept, that's a coordinate point. So we like to write that as a coordinate point where the x value of the y-intercept is always going to be 0. You done? OK. So the x value will always be 0, and the y value is going to be -5. We're going to be doing this next chapter anyways. So to go ahead and graph this, the first thing you do is plot the y-intercept, because that is where the graph crosses the y-axis. All right. The next thing is our slope tells us how to get to the next point. So since the change in the y-coordinates between any two points is +1, I'm going to go up 1. Since the change in the y-coordinates between any two points, or change in the x-coordinates between any two points is positive, I'm going to go over 1. And there are my 2 points. Now I can just continue on this pattern if I like, but I only need 2 points to graph. Since that's less than or equal to, we know it's solid. So I'll graph it like that. And now we need to test, do we shade above or below? So I'm going to use my test point, and I'm going to test the origin, because as long as my graph does not go through my test point, I can use that as a test point. Now I just plug 0 and 0 for x and y. So I have 0 is less than or equal to 0 minus 5. 0 is less than or equal to -5. 0 is not less than or equal to -5, so that is false. So since that is false, that means all the points that are above the line are false, and all the points below the line are now true. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you graph in slope-intercept form in a linear inequality. Thanks.